Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I am joined with Lara Nalbandian, the owner of the NORWAC conference. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Samantha.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
taking the
much.
time to do this.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? We saved the best for last. Are you joking?
Ah,
So you have two talks coming up this weekend. So the first one is on Saturday, May 23rd, 3:45 p.m., Natal Retrogrades and Karmic Astrology. Do you mind giving us a little sneak peek on what to expect on that lovely lecture?
well, as an evolutionary astrologer, every element of astrology comes through that kind of focus. So, evolutionary astrology is under a larger umbrella of karmic astrology, karmic and spiritual astrology. So, every element of the chart fits into some sort of story or past life narrative, past life dynamic. And so, retrogrades have a bad rap in history. Um, when I was coming up in the early 80s, studying astrology and being around the books, even in the 70s, there were books on retrogrades that were horrific. Um, that if you had a Mercury retrograde, you would be, you're slow and stupid. I am not making that up.
I read
So,
similar things too in older
yes.
books. Yeah.
So I am doing this lecture as a way to dispel the misconceptions, the myths, the stories of retrogrades being something to fear. And so they are, in terms of evolution, evolution in the retrograde process is that we always have to circle back. If I walk down a path for the very first time, I'm really dialed into my steps and I'm not really paying attention. I might not be as skilled. And so when I come back up the path, rewalk it, and go back again, I have more familiarity. There are things that I wasn't paying attention to that I'm more likely to see the second, third, or fourth time. And doing it second, third, or fourth time is not a bad thing. It is the process of evolution. It takes time. And so as we build skills the first time, we then walk the path with those new skills, gaining more skills, more knowledge, more awareness. And so it's important to understand that evolution takes time, and the retrogrades describe that oscillation process of the soul rewalking a path, going back, redoing it, and walking it again. Not because they did something wrong, because that's the nature of the process.
I love that so much. And that's so beautifully said. And as a native Mercury retrograde on my ascendant, perfectly conjunct, I thank you for this because that's going to be such a cool listen because I feel like I've lived that rewalking the path over and over. So that's just going to be such a good talk.
And here's
Sounds,
another piece of the puzzle. Let's say, for instance, I have Jupiter in Scorpio. It's
Mhm.
not retrograde. But its dispositor, the planet that rules Scorpio, is retrograde. So
Ah,
this carries a retrograde to that Jupiter. It's not a Jupiter retrograde. Don't make
yeah.
the mistake of thinking, I'm not trying to tell people it's a Jupiter retrograde, but it carries those qualities over, and there's some lingering elements to repeat or review or rethink.
I love that. That's amazing. And going to be such a great listen. Again, Saturday, May 23rd at 3:45 p.m. You can catch that lecture. And then you have another one on Sunday, May 24th at 1:45 p.m., the basics of aspect interpretation. You want to give us a
Yes.
little bit?
Well, aspects are daunting, are they
Yes.
not?
Yes, they
I
are.
mean, when you put up a chart and you see all those lines running back and forth, it can be overwhelming,
Hmm.
right? And it's easy to look past some of those aspects because it can be overwhelming. So this
Yes.
is a class that's going to really break down some of the basics. We're going to focus in on outer planets in the natal chart, looking at Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and how those aspects how we might interpret those aspects, how we might use them, right? So I believe every one of the outer planets is calling for some evolution and change, and they all have their different ways of doing that. And so we'll take a look at how does Saturn, say, square the moon versus trine the moon. How are those interpreted?
That is such a useful lecture yet again, because as you just said, the dauntingness of those lines. I feel like it took me so long, even looking at my chart for years. I'm still discovering ones that I overlooked because of just different orbs being used and whatnot. But it's so true. They can be very daunting. And once you kind of get a sense for the basics on them, you're good to go. So those
Exactly.
sound so
And
cool.
I've been looking at my chart for almost 40 years, and sometimes I forget some of the little minor
Yeah.
aspects that can be quite impactful. So,
It only
I
takes,
hope,
yeah.
yeah,
No,
I
it's
hope to see everybody there.
Oh, you will, I'm sure. It's going to be a good one. Do you want to say anything else as far as the conference goes? I'm looking forward to seeing you at the Q&A. I'll be hosting online. You are on for Saturday, May 23rd at 10:10 for the virtual Q&A with a couple other great astrologers speaking at NORWAC. But
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for the virtual folk and even some of the people at the
mhm.
conference who might want to run to their room and do a Q&A because they're shy coming up to speakers, or those speakers are being kind of mobbed a bit by other people asking questions and you just don't feel like you can do anything. So coming to the Q&A would be a great way to get your questions answered. Also, we have space in the conference, in the in-person conference as well. So you can come down to the Doubletree Suites Hotel, down in Tukwila, which is just south of Seattle, and a short ride from the airport. There's a free shuttle from the airport to our hotel. So come on down and you can register in person.
And I would take advantage of that. I wish I could be there in person and like go into the virtual space from like a room, but maybe next year. It'd be
Well, I
awesome.
hope so. We just need to make that happen.
I know next year it's on, I'm pretty sure because of UAC and everything, but this next year I'm going to be there doing virtual from the from the hotel, I think. That'd just be super cool, me and Nicholas tag teaming everything. But
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for joining me. And like she just said, you can head over to norwac.net to register for in person or in online, and then in person you have to register in person for at this point, right?
Hmm.
So norwac.net. And thank you so much, Laura.
Thanks, Samantha.